So that's my life vision in a nutshell, or rather, a window pane.
That's hilarious. Yes, I love that so much because it's so organized. And I just, the first time I picked up on the star, I don't know if I heard that one before. So, but the star and then the panes that are
Mm-hmm.
in the open
Mm-hmm.
spaces. I love that because it is in the attitude of reception as well, which
Ooh.
I love that
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you said, receiving can feel vulnerable. It is a surrender, right? And so when we are recognizing that, we're like, oh, I don't want more vulnerability. Do you want more anything? Sound good? Having more of? Like, then you might want to look into what it looks like to be a little bit more vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I love that so much. And I'm wondering if you have this kind of dichotomy of like when you're in the vision is in front of you, it's clear, it's a beautiful, and because that's how brilliantly detailed your brain is when you're imaginative. And then you have to go, why does this feel hard all of a sudden?
It's really interesting because as I gave this, I used words and I used an image. How I arrived at this was through my intuition. So I came into this world with intellect as my guiding force. However, then the downside of that is that I had a very mean mind, which means I was very critical of myself. And we just had a discussion with this, a couple of colleagues and I, on Saturday. And one of my colleagues says, Georgina, people don't even know what a mean mind is. And I said, but surely they know when they're being critical of themselves. And she said, no, not always.
No.
What has happened to me over time is that I've moved down to allow my heart, my intuitive self, to guide me. And Monifa, every time I'm in lack or limitation, I believe I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough energy. I know I've gone up here. And
Yes.
so that's my guide to get back down into this heart centered vision. And
Yes.
I'm all about awareness. I described myself this morning to somebody earlier as the awakened awareness woman. That's me.
I love it.
And when I am aware that I am in lack, or I am in fear, or I am futurizing, I get this done instead of being in the present moment. It can bring me
Mhm.
back with awareness to the vision. And then I ask myself three simple questions. And the questions are, what state am I in? And I know I'm in Oregon because I live here in Portland. Is it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual? How old do I feel? Because if I'm in a state of anxiety, do I feel like my teenage self? Or do I feel like my 4-year-old self? And then I go into the awareness. What would I like to have happen? Because the truth is, when we wake up and become aware, we realize we're more powerful than we know. And that's not coming from the ego, that's coming from the body and its messages and how we're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, and how magical even that is. I think I love the way how clear you present the understanding in because we do like yeah, we can theorize, but until we have brought it down to what is actually experienceable in our
Mm-hmm.
bodies, then
Mm-hmm.
we don't really know. We're not knowing or
Mm-mm.
living that truth, right?
You're knowing from your ego instead of your embodied soul self. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that divine
Yes.
self. Mhm.
Yeah, so
The
much
true
that.
nature. Mhm.
I love the age piece as well because now we're talking about when I first feel this way, right? Not maybe the first time, but what's most prevalent even
Mhm.
about how I feel about this,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
so it really helps us to pinpoint essentially, I think of it as a pattern. That pattern of
Yes.
why this keeps showing up. Like, why do I hate to
Right.
take phone calls? Why do I hate to write emails? Why do I
Mhm.
blank out every time I try to write my book? Like, all of these kind of things, but you're
Mhm.
so excited to do it. But when you sit down to do it, then it just
Mhm.
freeze, right? Nah,
Right.
I liked your physical expression because that was exactly how it feels, right? You're just,
Does.
what's happening?
Does. Mhm. Mhm.
So as we're bringing the vision to pass, let's talk about like maybe the first iteration of the vision, right? Like let's say, so I feel like everybody, all my lovely creative souls are so tender
They
hearted
are.
with this big desire. And then the first part comes out and they're just like,
I
ew,
know. I need
that's
an
not what
editor.
I imagined.
Yikes.
It's like, why? Why is it this? That's
Mhm.
not the plan.
Mhm.
What do
Mhm.
you, is it, tell me a little bit about when we're ready to get to that first iteration of the vision. And do you think of it as exactly the same way? Or